This starts. Hi, Cousins. Hi, cousin. Hi. Continue to say that. I'm in my early 30s. I have always planned to get married by 26. But life didn't go the way I imagined. The man I deeply loved changed his mind and married someone else. It was my first serious relationship, and the heartbreak was unbearable or felt unbearable. For a long time, I thought I'd never recover, but with time, the pain slowly faded, as it normally does. Then I met someone new. What started as a simple friendship gradually turned into something deeper. I found myself wondering how such a great guy was still single. He had a great job, was polite, handsome, and seemed to have all the qualities any woman would want. Yet, even as I was drawn to him, a part of me began to doubt it. Something didn't sit right. I opened up to him about my past relationship, and he told me that he'd never been in a serious one himself. That surprised me. It felt odd. I pulled back for a few days to process it. Then, someone who knows him well came to me with very disturbing news. She told me that there was a strange thing happening in his family. Stories that sent chills down my spine. Mental illness, suicide seemed to run in his bloodline. His mother, she said, was having a mental breakdown in the village. Even more horrifying, his mother's three brothers all had died by suicide in different years, each one reportedly jumping into a borehole. It was too much to take in. I still shudder just thinking about it. My heart aches not only from fear, but from confusion. I can't continue with him in this relationship. I wish I could ignore what I heard, but I can't. What troubles me deeply is this. Can people be freed of such generational patterns? Why should children suffer because of the choices made by those before them? I was told that his grandmother practiced idol worship. Could this be a spiritual issue? I feel for him. He doesn't even know I know about his family story. I don't know how to tell him I care, but I'm scared. What can he do to break free? I mean, sometimes when we start to attach spirituality with reality, it can lead to such blurry lines because it feels like, oh, they need deliverance or whatever. Generational curses broken, that kind of thing. But let's look at the facts for what the facts are. The fact is, you are worried that he may have generational issue of mental health. What does that mean? That means that anyone who's suffered mental health or has this in their lineage, it's the same way if you have alcoholism within your generations, like people have been alcoholics within your family, what do? You start to create systems that mitigate this issue. For instance, going and seeing specialists to help you with coping skills and coping mechanisms in case you fall into a pattern. Oftentimes, it's better to be preventative than to deal with the issue once it already has presented himself. And very clearly, this person, according to you and the stories that you've heard, has mental health issues running in his family. So what do? I think it's very simple and very clear. Just you can mention it if you want to, but if you don't want to mention it and you're waiting for him to tell you, then the solution will be simply just telling him, hey, I think it's important for you to actually see someone about this, to start getting yourself tools, learning tools that can help you when you struggle or when you're going through a period of, whatever health crisis or mental health crisis that will come to you. People can be able to be guided through these situations, can be able to be guided with skills to help them mitigate and manage whenever they do go through different episodes of different mental health crises, right? That's what I would do.
This is why it's so important to know about family history, to know the person you're dating. We saw Josh Baraka, I think we've had him on the show, where he was talking about how during the talking stage, it's important to ask somebody, is there a chance that when you get to a certain age, you need to sacrifice somebody? As in, these are really the questions you should be asking. And here's the thing. Yes, they're going through it as a family. Yes, they have their own battles. but it's not your responsibility to fix anything. It's not your responsibility to bear these burdens. You may love them, you may feel like they're the one, but have you traveled to Uganda? Have you traveled to Tanzania? Sometimes we're so locked in and we're so trauma bonded by people. And I know my advice has just been leave him, but honestly, why are you putting yourself in that position? You know, you're young. I feel like you have your whole life ahead of you, but because there's a certain promise you made yourself, there's a certain way you envisioned your life playing out, you've already decided, Masai imefika, it's time to lock this down. Not necessarily. And even when you're 25, your prefrontal cortex has not even fully developed. Just calm down, like breathe in and out. And trust me, when you're older, 10 years down the line, you look back and realize he was probably not the one.
No, she's 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wanted to get married at 26 though.
Exactly. And I feel like there's usually that pressure for babes that when I get to a certain age, I need to, you know, when you get to 30 and you have those anxieties of, oh my God, what have I done, blah, blah, blah. Honestly, that timeline does not exist anywhere but in your head. Just free yourself from that. And I know it's difficult because, you know, all of us have certain clocks and certain places we've, you know, told ourselves we're supposed to be at. And when we go over that line and we've not achieved something, we feel like we are failing. But honestly, if you feel like that, how will you get motivation to even move forward? You know, if you start feeling like you failed and you're unable to do something, how will you get out of it when that is the time you're supposed to be locked in? This is the time you're supposed to be chasing the bag. Trust me, if it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Okay? And I get it. It's tough. It's rough. But my advice for you is free yourself. Okay? Free yourself, girl.